Thank you, Royal. New information tonight on the woman arrested last year accused of killing her baby and leaving the newborn in a trash can at Sky Harbor Airport 20 years ago. We now know she was just bailed out of jail by a reproductive rights group.
Medical experts say the baby was alive until her mother suffocated her to death. All of this begs the question, why did this group choose to get involved in this case? Our true crime correspondent Briana Whitney is here. You've been looking into this. How did this come to be? How did this happen?
Unexpected, bizarre, and honestly somewhat still a mystery. But it's likely Annie Anderson's defense team provided this reproductive rights group with findings that challenged the facts of this case, leading them to pay Anderson's $200,000 bail. From a legal perspective, that's likely one of two things. Either they're arguing the medical examiner's findings of the baby being alive before killed are wrong, or that Annie Anderson's own confession is unfounded. A mother facing first-degree murder charges for killing her infant, now out of jail, thanks to a $200,000 bond, ironically paid by a pregnancy and abortion rights organization.
It's an interesting situation, and it's a new twist in the case.
Russ Richelsoph is a defense attorney unaffiliated with the case, but very familiar with the details. It was back in October 2005 when a baby was found dead in a Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport bathroom. The medical examiner ruled the infant, dubbed Baby Skylar by police, was alive for 24 hours before she died by suffocation. Nearly 2 decades later, DNA and genealogy helped lead detectives to the baby's mom, Annie Anderson, who confessed, telling police she didn't know she was pregnant, gave birth in a hotel bathtub, held the baby underwater because she didn't know what to do, then disposed of the body in an airport trash can before flying back home to Washington.
It's quite possible that the defense in this case is going to be that the medical examiner is wrong and that the baby was in fact stillborn.
Richelsoph says that may be something Anderson's defense team has zeroed in on with their own experts and provided details of their findings to the very organization that would bail out the mother facing murder. The bond receipt showing the Repro Legal Defense Fund put up the money for her release in December. Their website showing they provide financial support for people fighting charges related to their pregnancy or abortion. But this is a different case, dealing with the homicide of a baby already born.
Prior to today, I hadn't heard of this group, and I hadn't, seen a, political group like this post a bond in this kind of case. So I don't think it's very common.
Richelsoph says it's likely the defense attorneys may also look at Annie Anderson's confession, determining if it was valid, as confessions don't always hold up well in a court of law. But no matter what, there are still charges of child abuse and abandoning a dead body in addition to murder that the Repro Legal Defense Fund had to know before they posted hundreds of dollars in bail for the baby's mom.
I don't know why they've gotten involved, and I don't know what has been presented to them to convince them to get involved.
Of course, we have been asking the Repro Legal Defense Fund all day for a response to this, how they got involved with Annie, what about her case made them want to bail her out, and how they vet the cases they're presented with. Despite multiple emails and phone calls, they have not gotten back to us at all. As of today, it looks like Annie Anderson's trial is now slated to start in June instead of next month. That just changed today.
Gosh. And remind us again, this was one of those genetic genealogy cases 20 years after the baby was found. All this advancements in technology and DNA testing found her in Washington a couple months ago.
Yeah, I mean, so it happened actually about a year ago, but with everything, they had to kind of do their due diligence. As we know, genealogy is an investigative lead. They have to kind of button that up with all the other evidence they have. And that led them to her, but then they go to her and they tell us that she confessed to the crime. And you can see it in court documents. She describes in great detail what happened, how she did it, how she disposed of the body, and then flew off back to Washington. And so they're going to have to do a lot there to discredit that kind of confession, because it seemed like that was given under normal circumstances. Again, though, we don't know what her defense team could come up with. I think this really settles more on the medical examiner's report. Was that baby alive at the time that she was born? And was the technology that determined that 20 years ago still valid today? Obviously, have more technology. So I think that that's probably where the defense team will go. It'll be interesting to know, though, if she were to take a plea deal before this would get to trial.
Does she have to stay in the Valley awaiting trial?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So she needs to stay here. She's on electronic monitoring. In the court documents, it said her family would move here, relocate to Maricopa County to see this being resolved. And it is fair also to point out that at the resolution of this case, this group will get their bond money back, assuming that Annie Anderson does go to all her court dates, shows up, follows all the protocols.
Abides by the rules.
Right.
All right, Brianna, thanks for the update.